Africa. This vast continent is home to a huge variety of animals and cultures not found anywhere else in the world. Although the 20th century has inevitably left its mark on its 52 countries, much of Africa still remains untouched. Kumuka Expeditions invites you to join us in Africa for the journey of a lifetime.
My favourite part of the trip, I think the best country we went to was Zaire. Obviously the highlight was the gorillas.
Definitely the gorillas. Brilliant. Just fantastic to get so close.
First one would have been the chopper flight over the Delta, and then the volcano.
As adventure travel specialists, we offer unique itineraries that go beyond the tourist spots, viewing some of the most exotic animals of the world. To travel through Africa is to visit the past and glimpse at the future.
I think the African roads have been a real highlight, actually. They've been really good.
It's interesting to see just how bad roads can get and still be good roads. It doesn't really take away from the trip, if anything, it adds to it.
The most important factor of any expedition is your safari vehicle. We use rugged four-wheel drive trucks designed specifically for overland travel. These powerful German vehicles with their high flotation tires boast massive ground clearance to manage the continent's varied road conditions and to enable unobstructed game viewing.
The truck always gets through. They don't get bogged, they're pretty tough. They very, very rarely, if ever, break down. They're built to last, and they have.
Our trucks are fitted with long-range fuel tanks and carry 300 litres of water, so we remain self-sufficient in the wilds of Africa. There is also an abundance of space for wood, tables, camp stools, food and cooking equipment, and they also carry a refrigerator, stereo system and a reference line. Kumuka limits each group to 18 per vehicle, which allows for 12 seats to be forward-facing in a tiered configuration for maximum comfort and viewing.
The truck's been great, really. It's got a lot more going for it when you compare it to a lot of the other trucks we've seen. The seating's comfortable, really comfortable. You can roll back the top and you're right out there and you can see around you, whereas a lot of them look just like tour buses. They look really hot and uncomfortable. At least we can get out and have a bit of sun if we want to get into the breeze. It's been, I'm really impressed with the designs of the truck and the way they're arranged.
Camping safaris means tents, which are constructed to our specifications.
They're quite large tents, 2 people fit in there very comfortably. Has been known to squeeze even more in on some occasions. And there's a porch bit out the front where they can keep their packs and things like that. And they zip up well and they've got inbuilt mosquito nets.
As well as using established campsites, we also like to free camp, offering beautiful settings in remote areas inaccessible to other vehicles.
We try to put in quite a few free camps whenever we can. Seems that a lot of people come down expecting that's what Africa's all about, so we try and get out into the bush, so to speak, as much as possible. Brings the groups together a lot more as well. Everyone sits around the campfire and tells stories or sings songs if someone's got a guitar along or something. It tends to keep the group more as a group.
After setting up camp for the night, There can be few things more enjoyable than relaxing around a crackling fire beneath a starry sky, somewhere in Africa. A big part of life on the road is helping with the shopping, cooking and other chores.
It all runs on a roster system. You have usually 3 to a group, 3 for cooking, washing up and truck cleaning. And then we have 3 boys that are on the trip to do any of the heavy work and the packing of the truck. And they rotate around every 2 days, take it in turns. Turns into a bit of a laugh most of the time.
The markets provide excellent opportunities to meet and converse with the locals and practice your haggling skills.
We get in and go and do the shopping and the market, and we can sort of see how things work in each country. I think it's well done, you know. Everyone gets to have a go and go in there and barter for your food.
Cooking is done over an open fire and everybody gets involved in its preparation.
Food was excellent. I didn't expect to put on weight in the first few weeks of the trip.
The food was great, and I thought we were just going to eat rice and pasta, but actually we ate all kinds of food.
The food's been excellent. I've never gone hungry.
People are quite surprised at what they can do over an open fire, and it turns out to be quite enjoyable part of the trip, trying to outdo each other with meals. We bake cakes. There's not much we can't do on the trips.
There's certainly no barrier to cooking anything that you would normally cook at all. It's probably most akin to cooking on gas.
When the truck reaches larger towns, there's a chance to eat out.
I mean, the meals we've been out for have been really good, cheap, big helpings. No complaints whatsoever. I mean, eating out or eating on the truck, the food's been really excellent, really. It's been great.
Although we don't really need an excuse to celebrate, any occasion, however minor, is always welcomed. Here are some examples of highlights you can expect to see on our many itineraries. The Masai Mara, one of the most prolific game reserves in Africa. The Mara is an extension of the fabled Serengeti, made famous by the summer migration of over 1 million wildebeest and other animals which roam freely between these 2 great reserves. This is one of many opportunities to view the huge array of animals found in Africa. You'll be amazed just how close you can get to the wildlife. The animals people most want to see are the gorillas. Although it can take several hours to locate these magnificent mammals, the hike is always enthralling because you can never predict when you'll discover them.
picked the track up and we're sort of tracking them, so it's quite exciting, you know, while we're walking and trying to find them. Expecting to see them, you know, next corner you turn around. But I mean, just sitting 4 feet away from Mahisha, you know.
The silverback.
Yeah, the most famous silverback in Africa.
Being so close to us, a huge animal, thinking they could just squash your head, just like finished.
Their plight was brought to light by Diane Fossey and later to the screen in Gorillas in the Mist. Previously found from the banks of the Zaire River to the mountains of the Moon, this beautiful endangered species is now only found along the borders of Zaire, Rwanda and Uganda. The gorillas are undisturbed by human presence, but the guides still limit numbers of visitors to 6.
We weren't there too long because it's their home, not ours, but it was the most memorable hour of the tour.
Don't point to them.
The time spent by Lake Malawi is an ideal opportunity to relax and unwind. It's one of the largest freshwater lakes in Africa, with miles of unspoilt coastline ideal for water sports, yet it's over 500 kilometers from the sea. One of the most spectacular and memorable sights in Africa is Victoria Falls. Of all the waterfalls in the world, this is surely the most impressive. Dropping from over 100 meters in height, as much as 500 million liters of water can cascade down in under a minute. The spray from the falls is almost half a mile in height and lives up to its local name of Mosi Oatunya, the smoke that thunders. One of the most popular optional excursions is the helicopter ride over the falls, known as the Flight of Angels. For those who want to get even closer to the water, there is nothing to compare to the thrill of whitewater rafting. Although an optional excursion, most will choose to take on the mighty Zambezi, the best stretch of whitewater in the world. A more sedate pace is found gliding across the Okavango Delta's tranquil waters in your Makoro canoe.
Just seeing the Makoros and getting the sun and watching the birds swim about, just, you know, sort of as far away from the hassles of the world as you could possibly be, really. It's just superb.
Botswana is renowned for its spectacular delta. The swamps are a labyrinth of inland waterways of the Okavango River that originate in the mountains of western Angola before spilling over the sands of the Kalahari. It's a beautiful area, full of abundant bird life and game, which can be observed during your walking safari. Optional game viewing flights are always a highlight to give you a more comprehensive look at the 15,000 square kilometers that make up the world's largest inland delta. It's not just the friendships between fellow passengers that enhance your trip. It's also the opportunity to mix with the local people. Africans will greet you with a smile and welcome not found nowadays in many parts of the world. With their assistance, we can discover the geographical wonders of Africa. Few people have not seen footage or read about one of nature's greatest phenomena, the Ngorongoro crater, a 20-kilometer wide extinct volcano originally formed millions of years ago. The view from the 700-meter high rim is spectacular. It is now home to almost every conceivable wildlife species found in East Africa, offering a photographer's paradise in what is surely Africa's own Garden of Eden.
The crater was just brilliant. The lions especially, you get really close, they're right there. And it's just outside where, the vans, it's fantastic.
Well, just to drive in there for the day in the Land Rovers and just to see so many different sorts of game in just one place, all so close, in different habitats and things, you had like the grasslands and sort of there was a bit of forest there and stuff, and then like the big pool where the hippos were, it's just great.
Zanzibar. The history of this small offshore island reads like a chapter from Arabian Nights and undoubtedly evokes many exotic images. Once the heart of the slave trade, today it is better known as the Spice Island and has lured travellers to its shores for centuries. The old stone town of Zanzibar is probably one of the most fascinating places on the east coast of Africa. Honeycombed with narrow, winding streets, it is lined by whitewashed houses with magnificently carved brass-studded doors. Zanzibar also has superb palm-fringed beaches with unique wildlife and culture. If you're a beach lover, there are few places more beautiful than the Indian Ocean around Mombasa and its fascinating town. On this superb coastline, you can enjoy a wealth of water sports and tropical sunshine, which make it an ideal place to stay. Typical of the south coast is Tiwi Beach, with relaxing bars and rooms that overlook the ocean and its protective coral reef, the second longest in the world. Kumuka's operation is based in the West End of London, with representation in Nairobi and Harare, ensuring you are well looked after during your time in Africa. You are also fully briefed by your crew before travelling.
The day before the trip, there's a pre-departure meeting that everyone needs to turn up to, and we run through the route that the trip's going to take you on and give you a better idea of what the weather and what the conditions will be like, and if there's any changes in the trip, so that if you need to get any extra visas or there's things that we mention that you haven't been told to buy, you've got the day to go and get yourself organised. The size is what really throws people as well. I think a lot of people that haven't really thought about it and just booked a trip come over and they don't realise how big it is, and that you're travelling through a lot of different countries, that each country has its own culture. It's just being there and experiencing it and trying to get to know people and talk to the people that work in the markets and have fun with them. So it's a lot different than travelling in Europe or Australia or anywhere for that matter.
Whether you choose a one-week safari or a 20-week expedition, the experience of travelling with Kumuka will be one to cherish, and the memories will last a lifetime.